these 10-star local business owners, who are personable. That's the most important thing. And because I'm in the talk radio business and yap for 16 hours a week over here, they're the same type of people that you're going to enjoy doing business with. So I'm going to probably slaughter this guy's last name, but what the heck, that's what I do for a living, and you can't do anything about it because I'll get the ACLU, and I might get $7,000. It's Dustin Deslorias.
Wow, that was really good. That was pretty close. You can pronounce the yes or not.
Deloria.
So, there you go. That's pretty good. Yeah, either way.
Is there an S at the end?
There is spelled, but you can pronounce it with or without. I say Delorious because my name is Dustin Delorious, but if you ask my dad, he'll probably say Don Delorier.
Okay.
Because it flows off the tongue probably a little better.
Nice, Dustin Delorious. From EverWood Flooring.
Correct.
Okay, the website's www.everwoodflooring.com, and a nice, interesting story. First of all, he's been in business here since 2012. We'll get into everything that he does in just a little bit, but you're a musician?
Yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was younger, about 12 years old. I started playing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
still do now?
Yeah. No, I don't play out in clubs anymore, but still get to get down into the studio in my house and just.
Well, you're only like 22 years old, aren't you?
33.
Really?
Yeah,
you look great. You look young.
Thank you.
And so, probably looking for bands and stuff through the time, when you were playing, and you met a guy who was looking for a guitarist for his band. So you guys hooked up and ended up turning out to be someone who you've become great friends with and ended up starting this business together with.
That's correct. Yeah. We met actually on AOL, like Instant Messenger back when it was like AOL 3.0, and got together, started jamming, and he's a drummer, and formed a band, and stayed friends throughout college and everything. And later on in life, a few years ago, we started the business together.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a long road of friendship, but it's a close business relationship as well.
You went to college?
I did a little bit. I didn't completely graduate, but I went to New Hampshire College and then took classes at night while flooring during the day at Southern New Hampshire University.
Would you consider yourself, as I said a little bit off air, to be a carpenter?
Yeah, interior finish carpentry kind of goes hand in hand with flooring. It is, yeah.
These hands-on skills today that a lot of the industry and news sources out there, when they're talking about things in just general, they don't talk too much about skilled positions in life anymore, which are great livings. And I still think there's going to be a great need for them, no matter how fast we get with the internet and technology. Guys and gals that work with their hands and learn a trade are the most marketable skills you could probably have. And I mean, anybody who does small engine repair right now, you're going to be in business the next 10 years because they must have sold 25 to 30,000 of those things in this state this month. And that is not, I might be maybe 20,000. But these guys and gals that do this, including yourself as a carpenter, are in high demand,
That's correct. Yeah,
were you playing with wood when you were a kid?
Not too much. My dad was pretty handy around the house, so I can't ever remember him hiring somebody to do something at our house. So
most fathers did back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I kind of picked up, from just everything like that. But I got into the world of flooring, kind of doing tile, and I was doing hardwood at the same time, and realized I really wasn't a big fan of tile. It felt like a giant art project every time I went to start a job, and hardwood cutting on the saws and stuff was way more up my alley.
Hey, look, nothing better than a nice hardwood floor.
That's
I mean, honestly, really, and I know that over the years they've come out with these things to give the homeowner, a simple way to lay down flooring. But the old style hardwood flooring is priceless, and especially when it's polished up real nice.
Well, I like to, the hardwood floor that's a solid hardwood that's 3/4 of an inch thick will last a long time in a house. I mean, most people tend to wait 15 to 20 years before they get it refinished just because of the logistics of getting everything out of the house and, dealing with the process. So they tend to put it off until it's in dire need of repair or refinishing. And if they do wait every 15 to 20 years, I mean, you can sand a solid oak floor most of the time five times over. So a solid oak floor will last much longer than you ever will in a house,
Nice.
close to 100 years.
www.everwoodflooring.com. That's the website. If you're interested in anything that has to do with flooring, this is the guy to call. He's right in Nashua right here. The number's 821-4897, 821-4897. One of these things that this is technology here today, is this dustless refinishing.
Yeah, there's kind of a cloudy question mark over people's heads when they think about what is this dustless thing, and there's a few ways to get there, and some ways are definitely better than others. The dustless floor sanding is essentially a large vacuum system that evacuates the dust out of the house while we sand. So it needs to be a very powerful vacuum system, whether it's mounted in a truck or whether it's a portable system that's very large that 3 or 4 guys might need to carry, bring right outside the home and run some hoses through the windows. Or if it's bad weather, as we are in New Hampshire, sometimes we can bring it in the house, but we prefer to evacuate the dust outside.
Dustin? How does the wood react inside a home in these ice cold days over here? A lot of people have their thermostat 65 to 68. And the wood fluctuates through tremendous temperature changes up in New England.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much your wood floor swells and contracts. I liken it to a window that is, easy to open in the winter, and then in August it can be
I have it with doors. I have it with doors. It's relentless.
If your windows are doing that, you better believe your floor is also doing that, and just people don't notice it because they're walking on it unless they have an issue and they feel it.
Is there anything you're supposed to do? It's just natural, right?
It's really very, very natural, and the only thing that could, really occur is just over time, natural of expanding and contracting over the years with the heat being cranked in the winter and the humidity in August and everything. It all adds up to, sometimes leaving. That's where you get those spaces between your floor and the floor. It looks a little gapped out. It can still, there's nothing wrong with the floor. It's a natural reaction, although depending on how it was installed, if it was nice and tight, usually it'll stay tighter and not gap out longer.
Have you had jobs where you've gone in and had to refinish and bring back to life some old floors that have been there for 50, 60 years? And you must get some real satisfaction.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 50, 60 years is not uncommon. Like my house, North Nashua here, was built in 58, and that's still in phenomenal shape. Actually, I think it's only been sanded a couple times. But the ones that are truly special are the old, yellow birch floors found a lot here in a lot of historical homes built in the late 1800s and early 1900s and stuff like that, where they have shiplap corners and intricate border work that they used to do all the time in these rooms. I mean, it was kind of commonplace for them to border a room and extend the border into the center of the room. And if you've ever been in a very old, early 19th house, you'll see that kind of throughout time and time again. But those floors, over the years, they've done some pretty crazy stuff with them as far as covering them, and then and they get real nasty. But we've cleaned them up, and I have some great pictures on the website of stuff we've done.
You got video as well, which is great. Dustin Dolores is with us this morning. He's the owner of EverWood Flooring right here in Nashua. Most people would think, they look at these, they probably get carpet because the hard, because there's wood underneath all the carpet. Maybe not like what you're working with, but because it looks cold, it just seems like it's cold, a wood floor.
It can be kind of cold, yeah, and a lot of people avoid putting it, in their master bedroom sometimes because they like to step out of their bed onto a nice carpet. Although, being this is my trade, I tend to say, well, throw an area rug under there and we'll put hardwood.
Nothing looks better than an area rug on a wood floor, though, right?
That's right.
What type of woods do we use? Now, you just said really late 1800s, 1900s especially. We have a lot of nice old houses in Nashua.
We do.
They were using birch.
A lot, yeah. A lot of oak kind of.
That's to me. That's a white, bright wood. It's a bright wood.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah, it's similar to a beechwood or a maple. A beechwood kind of has this peppered flakes in it. You got to look very, very close to see it. And a yellow birch will often mistaken with maple a lot of the time. So some people will try to match a yellow birch floor and end up installing maple, and it's close. I mean, to the average person, it would look fine, but if you knew what you were looking at, it would look a lot better if you
what's the preferred wood for floor? Is it oak?
That's the standard. I think a lot.
Do we have a choice if we come to look at you? We want to get a room done. Do you offer different types of woods?
Nowadays, the sky's the limit. I mean, exotic woods.
The fake stuff, Dustin, is Come on. I mean, it's easy to put down. Don't get me wrong. I tried it on a room once. It was an epic fail, by the way.
Sometimes they're difficult. You know, they're advertised as very easy, but if you have to work around a door jamb, you know, a lot of these click together products, you have to angle up in the air before you click them together.
Yes,
and if you're a homeowner, you know exactly what I'm
Yes,
talking
I do,
about right
yeah.
now.
It's not
and
easy.
when you go to get underneath a door jamb, you can't get that angle, so it becomes very difficult to do, and that's where it's not easy.
Well,
but,
it has this kind of sheen to the top of it that, you know, it looks shiny. It's almost like I don't know, but you know what I mean. But when you get the real wood, you just know it.
Yeah, you're seeing the laminate top.
That's
so
it.
It's made by a machine, and it really you know, shows through as fake. But on that note, they do make click-together floors that have real wood tops. So you can get one that clicks together as easy as that with a real wood veneer on top.
Is it a big savings between what you're doing and laying down oak?
Actually, more money, because they end up going through a lot of process to create an engineered floor, where the milling process for a standard strip of oak, I mean, they run it through the mills, and it gets, you know, sanded down and shaped. And
you take part in picking this wood, do you?
Oh yeah. If you were to give us a call or fill out the contact form online, sometimes I always call ahead of time to, you know, set up the appointment, and I talk to you for a little bit just to get an idea of what you have going on, maybe what's already in your house, and kind of what you felt you wanted to move forward with. And then I'll bring samples, and, you know, I bring them right into your home, so that way we can put them on the floor and see how they actually look in your house, which is a big difference from when you go into a store. It can be pretty overwhelming. You know, I don't have a I don't have a retail location, so it's much more personable, and at the same time, I'm in the field every day, so I install and work right alongside the guys.
Yeah, well, it's always great to have a master carpenter in there who knows what he's doing. Dustless Refinishing, wood floor installation, repair, flooring products. They do it all right here at EverWood Flooring in Nashua, and Dustin is with us this morning having a little chat. What's the time limit it takes to do it? Let's say this room right here is probably 20 foot by 10 or 12. What are we looking at time if I want to lay down a floor? I mean, we got to pull this carpet up, and I want a wood floor.
Standard floor. I mean, something like this size, like a dining room or bedroom size, can be installed in a day. If you use a pre-finished floor, you know, I always used a marker of like maybe 250 to 300 square feet a day is what we, you know, can accomplish. Depending on how many ins and outs and everything. But if it's a square room, can be easily done. And then the sand to finish process is a standard 3-day process. So the first day, if it's under 1,000 square feet of sand and finish, we can sand it all and get a coat on in the same day. And then there's 2 additional days of coating. That's with the standard, you know, oil-based polyurethane.
I can see it now. I mean, there's nothing more staggering to the eye than that, you know. And bringing back your floor to looking like brand new is just just enriches the whole house. And that's where this dustless refinishing comes in as well. There's a lot of people that have allergies today, and you know, kids and stuff like that there. So I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I'm sure you would, when there was no dustless refinishing going on, huh?
It was, you know, we still tend to throw a mask on, because, you know, even with the dustless system being as powerful as it is, you still got to contain the dust and everything. There's very, very minimal dust now. I mean, you know, the dustless system runs close to 400 CFM, and that's a very powerful vacuum system. And, you know, one of the things, it's Green Guard certified for indoor air quality, which Green Guard is basically a independent company that kind of puts their stamp of approval on the best of the best in products. You'll see a Green Guard certification on cleaning products and insulation, and this is the one that they gave the approval for the best dust collection system.
What is that dock wood I'm looking at just on this wood floor and installation page with that dock wood? It's in a hallway. Just got some long dock strips. What kind of wood is that? Or is it oak just stained down?
I think that's I think what you're looking at is a oak stained. So
beautiful.
We can do. We really like to specialize in staining. So if you've got a pre-finished wood you need to match, you know, let me know, and we can match an old unfinished floor you have to a pre-finished wood, because pre-finished woods are very popular.
Beautiful.
So we'll step to. Traditional staining is very hard to match these pre-finished proprietary colors. They don't want people copying them very easily, so they make it difficult by making very unique colors. So we usually have to blend sometimes 3 or 4 stains together to get the proper color. Or if we really need to, we even step to aniline dyes, which is a whole separate process where we dye the floor prior to staining it.
Yeah.
And then if it's done properly and you get a nice even coat across the floor, it can look amazing. If it's done improperly, it can be one of the worst looking floors ever. So it's a very specialized
You better
thing.
be a pro to do something like that.
Yeah.
Dustin Delores is with us from EverWood Flooring, www.everwoodflooring.com. Let's talk a little bit about repairs.
Okay.
That's probably a tougher job sometimes than laying down a whole new floor because, like you just said, sometimes we have to match. But you do repairs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't just mean that you drop the hammer on your kitchen floor and you want to pull a board out. If that happened, of course we can do that. But most of the type of repair work we're looking at is, hey, I pulled out this big wall between my dining room and kitchen and opened it up like everyone seems to be doing a lot lately. And now there's a big hole in the floor as far as there's a gap, and there's a gap between the two rooms. How are we going to go about fixing that? So we'll weave in floors, or if the floor, even worse, butts up against the wall and all the end butt joints are kind of exposed, we can weave that in and tooth it into another floor, depending on the situation. But we've had great success doing that, and then we sand and finish it all together, and it blends beautifully.
So repairs you do as well.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to, I'm sure you're a master carpenter here. So if I wanted not this traditional lengthways type of flooring, if I wanted my room to cut itself in squares all the way down to a small square, could you do that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you done any of those?
I've done some things where we've done borders that extend way past where I thought they should have extended, and the homeowner just really wanted to do it. We've done stuff like bordered in even master bedrooms, and they've filled the center with carpet because of that carpet effect of, but
that would look amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, one of the great things that you've got going for yourself, and this is a hands-on skilled work, is that this stuff's someone in the future, 100, 150 years from now, will be doing the same thing that we're doing to what the old carpenters did way back in the 1890s and see your work.
This is true. Yeah, it is nice to step back and see what you did and know that you can go back, or you drive by a house sometimes that you worked on even 10 years ago. And I think into the future, when I'm much older and hopefully retired from doing this, you can.
Well, then you'll be making boats. Then you'll be building boats.
Then I'll be able to drive by the house and say, 40 years ago, right, I put a floor in that house.
Yeah, somebody else will later on, when they're looking at it, like I've gone to some of our old buildings here. I think about the one down on Temple Street, Canal Street, all the way down that building on the left. The wood floors in there are just, well, I'm sure they could be resanded and stuff, but you can tell they're 100 years old.
Right, yeah. Some of these old floors, man, they are the ones that are the most photogenic and clean up the best. I mean, they really are.
Oh, yeah, you can resurface those, huh?
Yeah, certain ones. I mean, there is a slight problem with, there was a time period where people were using lead paint, and they were kind of throwing it on the floor sometimes, and we don't sand those. Those ones that you have to cover back up with carpet or just figure something else out.
Flooring products, for those of you who already have floors and stuff, you deal with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time there's a precedent set in the house with the type of floor that you want to extend into the other room so it doesn't look so awkward. Or you can, do something completely different, depends on the space. But a lot of people in this area tend to have white oak, so we sell a lot of white oak and things like that. But
any tips for those out there that want to clean their floors? I mean, they dust them and stuff like that there, but should we be spraying the what's that stuff in the yellow can on there? I forgot what that stuff's called. Dust or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'd stay away from most of the cleaning products. I recommend one thing, and it's actually the same. I only use one type of polyurethane that's made by Bona Chemi. Bona is the leader in the industry in my mind. I feel that they've always set a precedent. They're a Swedish Finnish company that has been around since the early 1900s, although didn't really become popular in the United States until the mid to early 2000s. And now you see a lot more people familiar with their cleaning products, but they're the only polyurethane we will use is a Bonachemi polyurethane.
Man, I'll tell you, I could pick your brain all day. You're a professional. And thank you for coming in early this morning. I'm glad you're local. You can come out and see you if you'd like to talk about wood. That's what he does, 821-4897, 821-4897. Install, dustless refinish, and repair EverWood Flooring. Dustin is in the studio this morning. I enjoyed my conversation. I could pick your brain all day, buddy. Dustin Delorius. Good stuff. You've got some employees. How many employees you got working?
Just a couple. There's a few of us. There's a couple guys that are outstanding every day, and there's one guy that works alongside of me handling most of the installs. So
you're out there. You're hands-on still. You're out there.
I'm out every day. Yeah. I work in the field every day, and there's a lot of running around where I have to make it to see future customers and existing customers and keep everything all together. So I can't always be on my hands and knees 8 hours a day, but at the same time, you'll see my face, throughout the day, and I'm always in the.
Hey, for the most part, though, I mean, the good thing about your gig, maybe not so bad in the hard in the summer, but wintertime you're indoors.
I'm inside. I don't want to be outside in this weather. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I got to take a break, go to the bottom of the hour, second part of our business profile. I'm George Nashua This Morning. Sun is finally shining in the box.